How a woman got 23 contact lenses lost in her eyes? What?
You get an annoying
23
itch around
stacked.
your eye and start to rub it with your hand. But soon,
True.
you regret it. Your
True.
contact lens slips out of place. Looking around, you can't find it anywhere near you and go to get a new one. What you don't realize is that the lens never fell out. It
You pushed
actually
it.
got lost in your eye. What happens
Oh,
when someone loses a
no.
lens in their eye but doesn't realize
Actually
it?
stacking.
For one woman, her concern wasn't just a lost contact lens lodged in her eye. It was 23 lenses that got stuck inside her body for months.
Wait, so she's straight just stacking lenses in one eyeball. Well, that's gonna fuck your vision up even more than it already is. Oh, what? How? Bro, when I wouldn't have found it in the floor, she just kept putting it in, I would have been stressing for like days. I wouldn't have put a new one in until I was like sure there wasn't anything in my eyeball. I'd be bugging.
Let's get into it.
Let's do
A
that.
42-year-old woman living in the UK had noticed a little bit of drooping with her upper left eyelid recently. It wasn't too noticeable, so she didn't think much of it and went on with her life. But after 6 months, the same eyelid was swollen. A lump had grown on it and had become painful to touch.
Oy.
The woman saw her family doctor, who referred her to an eye doctor to investigate the issue. Her vision was fine, and both of her eyes seemed normal other than the swelling. There was no strange discharge, sensitivity, or redness. However, doctors could feel a small lump under the skin of the upper left eyelid, and they decided to take an MRI scan to see what it was. The scan revealed that the lump had the characteristics of a well-defined cyst. It was about 8 millimeters long,
Like a
located
cyst.
just above the patient's left eye. The patient's doctors decided to do surgery to remove it, and something inexplicable happened in the process. Right after being removed, the cyst ruptured, breaking open to reveal one extremely fragile contact lens. The woman and the doctors were stunned.
So instead
It
of
was a
pus,
hard
it's just a
contact
fucking lens.
also known as a rigid gas permeable contact lens. But the patient didn't wear these type of contacts. She hadn't used hard contacts since she was a teenager, almost 3 decades ago. It was her mother.
Oh no, I don't want to wear contacts anymore. Bro, contacts have scared me, and I've never even worn them. I can't. The idea of touching my eyes, I do it. I mean, I'm doing it literally right now as we speak. My eyes kind of itchy. Like, I touch my eyes quite a bit, but the idea of putting some shit in my eyes and keeping it there, I can't fuck with that. Hell no. I think I'd rather do LASIK first, and I fucking hate the idea of LASIK too. But I hear LASIK doesn't hurt, and I actually hear contacts hurt. So why the fuck would you want to do something that is A, uncomfortable, and B, hurts? I'd rather do the other one, which is uncomfortable and doesn't hurt. I'd rather do the LASIK. Oh, the fuck contacts. I couldn't be me. I don't even like wearing glasses.
Who figured
I just
out
go
what
blind.
happened.
It is
She
what it is.
remembered that when her daughter was 14, the girl was playing a game of badminton when a shuttlecock hit her left eye.
Oi.
She recovered quickly from the injury with no unusual symptoms, but never wore hard contact lenses again. The contact lens was lost after the girl was hit in her eye, and she wasn't able to find it. So the family just assumed it had been knocked out and lost on the ground somewhere. But the lens had actually moved into the girl's upper left eyelid, pushed by the impact, and remained trapped there for 28 years without anybody knowing.
28.
Doctors assumed that the drooping eye, swelling, and inflammation were all caused by the contact
That
lens.
was the lens?
But they couldn't explain why it hadn't caused any issues for so long.
Yeah,
or
almost
why the
3
symptoms
decades,
would have
nothing
appeared
happened.
suddenly. There didn't seem to be any triggers that could have caused the symptoms to start after so many years. If you find that hard to believe, wait until you hear about this next case. A 67-year-old woman in the
Wait, so for 30 years, she was just able to stack up contacts on top of the hard contact that was lodged in her fucking skull? Or her eye socket? Huh?
UK was being prepped for a routine eye surgery to address her cataracts. For 35 years, she had been wearing monthly contact lenses without issues, so she didn't make many visits to the eye doctor. Her eyes were a little uncomfortable, but she assumed this was a common condition caused by old age and dry eye. For her cataracts procedure, doctors needed to numb her eyes for surgery. One doctor lifted her right eyelid and was about to apply the anesthetic when he saw something strange and had to stop the injection. Under the top eyelid, deep in the woman's right eye, was a huge blue mass, unlike anything the doctors had ever seen before. They took a closer
It's like a
look
second
and
iris.
discovered that the mass was actually a clump of 17 contact lenses held together by mucus. Upon closer inspection, a second clump was found in the same eye.
A second!
This time with 10 contact lenses.
Oh!
In total, the doctors
How?
removed 27 lenses
How do
that
they
the woman
stack?
had lost in just her right eye.
What?
The surgery was immediately postponed
No!
because the existence of soft lenses in the woman's eye posed a risk of infection.
Ugh.
Soft lenses can be almost like a sponge that absorbs bacteria, and having so many in an eye for an unknown period of time meant that there would have been a lot of bacteria if the doctors had operated.
I can imagine.
None of the doctors
Bro,
previously thought
what
it was
the
possible
fuck?
for this
How
many
do you
contact
even?
lenses.
How does that happen? Like, it gets stuck in the top of your, like, it's in your, it's in there. Like, it's just chilling in there. How? How do you not feel that? I guess they are, like, thin, but they can't be that thin where you can stack 27 and not feel shit. Well, I guess she did feel something, but there's 30 in there. Good God.
To be lost, and especially for them to not cause major issues.
That's disgusting.
They noted that the patient had deep-set eyes, which might have made it easier for multiple lenses to be lost.
Oh, deep.
The woman explained that sometimes, when she
Ay.
tried to remove a contact from her right eye, she couldn't find it and thought she must have dropped it somewhere. The woman's left eye had
Wait.
no lost lenses at all.
So
and
she did what the other
actually
girl
had better
did, but
vision than the right
stacked
one,
even harder.
which made sense now that the lost contacts have been discovered. The lenses were removed.
Ay.
After 2 weeks, the patient reported that her eyes were much more comfortable than before. Doctors decided to publish the case in
nice.
BMJ because none of them had ever heard of something like this before, and most didn't believe that it was possible to lose so many lenses in their eyes without severe complications.
Right?
They weren't the only skeptical ones. Skeptical ones.
Another
Many
one?
people online commented on the story and how unusual it was that the woman didn't notice the lenses lost in her eye.
True.
Most
It's
people who have had a
crazy.
contact lens stuck experience irritation, redness, discomfort, and eye infections. But this patient wasn't the only one. Another case that went viral on Instagram, collecting millions of views, shows footage of a doctor in California who recorded the process of removing 23 contact lenses from a woman's eye. The patient sought medical attention for pain and blurriness in her eye. The graphic
the footage
video
here?
shows a
I
close-up
hope
of the
not.
woman's eye
I kinda
as
do
the
and kinda
doctor
don't
lifts
wanna
the
see
upper
it, you
lid
know?
to reveal a large green mass. Using a cotton swab, the doctor slides out clumps of contact lens after another, and the patient is shocked that any lenses were lodged in her eye, much less stacked like pancakes. Many of the lenses had been sitting under the patient's eyelid
Wait,
for
is
a
that the
month
real photo?
and were
The-
stuck together so
Ugh.
tightly that the doctor had to use fine surgical instruments to separate them. Apparently, the patient had no idea she could have forgotten to remove so many lenses. The doctor who posted the video, ophthalmologist Katerina Kurtiva,
Oh, man.
warns people to be more diligent. The video is captioned, "Don't sleep in your contact lenses." According to the CDC,
Oh, man.
45 million
That was
people
not
wear
it.
contact lenses in America alone.
Bro.
Using them
So it was all clumped like that in her eye, or did they just do it like, like did they maneuver? I don't want to look at it again, but I have to. Like, did they maneuver it in this fashion, or did it just come out like that? Like, it came out like thick tears, and then it clumped out like fucking chewed up bubble gum, motherfucking bubble blowing bubble buddies. Like, what the fuck? It's straight doubling, tripling. They're stacking. Ugh, what the
who
fuck?
posted the video, ophthalmologist Katerina Kurtiva, warns people to be more diligent. The video is captioned, "Don't sleep in your contact lenses." According to the CDC,
Who's sleeping in
45
contact
million
lenses?
people
Oh,
wear
hell
contact
no.
lenses in America alone. Using them means an increased risk of eye infections, since people touch their eyeballs with their fingers and insert a foreign object. And it's especially risky if they don't follow proper care guidelines. If an infection progresses, it can have severe consequences, including blindness. Many people get used to using contacts after years of wearing them every day, and this can lead to desensitization of their eyes as well as forgetting to be diligent. When the eye adjusts to wearing contacts, the cornea becomes less sensitive and people may not notice when something is off, like these cases we hear about.
But like
The FDA recommendation
it's more than off in this cases, no? Because what's happening is they're rubbing their eyes so the lens goes from here to like here. How does like the receptors in your nerves not feel it here? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it be in a different position if it's ending up in the socket? It'd be like up here. Like, I get like this is probably getting used to it. Maybe all the receptors are the same. 'Cause that's the only thing that can make sense. Also, what's interesting to me is like, how do you keep losing a contact by thinking it's on the floor and not kind of like come up? Well, never mind. I wouldn't come up. I thought I would. But then I really checked reality, and I wouldn't come up with the idea of that. If I scratched my eye and I lost one and didn't see it on the floor, I wouldn't after a while start being like, well, maybe it's in my eye. Because, like, the idea of this even happening is fucking ridiculous to me.
we hear about.
It shouldn't be a thing.
Recommendations
It just
for
shouldn't
contact
be.
lens usage include
Like, why is
having
this
a proper
real?
and up-to-date prescription for your eyes, as contact lenses are specific to the user. Contacts also should not be bought over the counter, as this means they are sold without a prescription from unlicensed vendors that are not guaranteed to be safe. Make sure you receive the exact right brand and specifications for your prescription. There are many different types of contact lenses. There are RGP lenses, known as hard
RGB.
contacts, that are durable and last longer, and soft contacts made of flexible plastics that allow oxygen to get through to the eye. Some contacts are daily wear, while others can be worn for 2 weeks or 30 days. No matter what type of contacts are being used, it's crucial to read the instructions for each type and know what you should or shouldn't do. It's especially important to note how long you should wear your contacts for, and how often your eyes should have a break. Even if you have perfect vision, it's still necessary to get a prescription for decorative lenses,
Just
since
yoinked
they are
him
still
out, man.
considered medical devices, and places that advertise them as cosmetics and sell them without a prescription in the United States are breaking the law. Decorative lenses are not one size fits all, and an eye doctor should measure each eye to properly fit the lens and see how your eyes will react to contacts.
Damn, I forgot about these. There actually was a time I actually wanted contacts. I used to have a cousin. Oh, whoa. I said used to. I have a cousin who used to wear like pure white contacts and Naruto contacts when I was like in middle school or some shit. And those made me want it until like I realized like what you gotta actually do to do it. But those actually made it seem kind of cool.
An improperly fitted lens can cause scratches on the cornea, an eye infection, pink eye, and loss of vision.
Pink eye.
The FDA recommends against buying lenses over the counter from any source, including online, street vendors, Halloween, costume, novelty, beauty supplies, and cosmetic stores. Clean your lenses properly by following the instructions on the product and those given by your eye care provider. Usually, multi-purpose contact lens solutions should be replaced 3 months after the bottle is opened. Always use the new lens case that comes with every box and make sure to read the guidelines on the box, as different solutions have different instructions and companies sometimes change their formulas. And never reuse lens solutions. Other basics include removing lenses before swimming and not exposing them to any water, which can contain microorganisms that can cause infections. Don't transfer contacts to smaller travel containers, as they are not guaranteed to be sterile. And never put your lenses in your mouth or in contact with saliva.
Who the
Remember
fuck
not
is
to wear your contacts overnight unless
Who's
prescribed
putting a
to
lens
do so,
in their mouth?
as this increases the risk of infection
That's
and
literally
distresses
like a
the cornea
fake-
by reducing the amount of oxygen getting to the eye and sometimes
It's like a
even
fake
causing
iris,
damage
man.
to the cornea surface.
You trying to eat
Finally,
that?
never ignore
Chill out,
symptoms of eye
XQC, like,
infections
damn.
and discomfort,
Straight munching
including
on your own,
irritation, discharge,
on your own
tearing,
biological
increased
stuff.
light
Like, damn.
sensitivity, itchiness, burning,
That's
gritty
crazy.
feelings, redness, blurry vision, swelling, and pain. If you experience these symptoms, remove your contacts and keep them off, and contact an eye care professional. Don't throw out the lenses, because they might be useful for a professional to understand what happened. Your eyes are an extremely important part of your body, so caring for them is a priority. Even though many people wear contact lenses without major issues, taking risks is not worth damaging your eyesight or finding yourself in an eye-palling situation.
Fair. Well, that was pretty spooky. That was a hard video to watch, but interesting nevertheless. It was had some interesting moments.